Now, following the recent case of discriminatory practice by a KFC outlet at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, against Debola Daniel, the son of Benga Daniels, the senator representing Ogun East Senatorial District and a former governor of Ogun State, the Center for Citizens with Disabilities has called for more access to airport and airport facilities and services for people living with disability in Nigeria. Debola Daniel was refused entry into the outlets of the fast food restaurant because he was on a wheelchair. Now, the civil society group says the incident is a highlight of the diverse issues people living with disability face in the country. It called on the government to ensure that people living with disabilities are not denied their basic fundamental human rights. Now, TV 360's correspondent Okpeyemi Owosheni has more on the story.
It's estimated about 1 billion people living with disabilities travel by air globally. That's according to the International Air Transport Association. But for many of them, the travel experience is a nightmare, as most airports have no provision for their special needs, and Nigerian airports are no exception. Using the case of Debola Daniel, who was refused entry into the KFC outlet at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos, the civil society group Center for Citizens with Disabilities called this gathering to further attention to the series of discrimination air travelers with disability face at the nation's airports.
Section 14 of the National Disability Act mandates that all airlines operating in Nigeria to ensure that all their aircrafts are made accessible to persons with disabilities, ensure that persons with disabilities are assisted to get on and off on board in safety and reasonable comfort, ensure that persons with disabilities are accorded priority while boarding and disembarking from the aircraft. And all airports should make available presentable and functional wheelchairs for conveying persons with disabilities to and through the aircraft.
Even though the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria swiftly shut down the KFC outlet and asked the management to tender a public apology to Daniel, the group says fans still needs to do more to prevent a future recurrence.
Members of NCA staff and fan staff to tell them the rules and regulations that must govern the operations within the airport premises. This is what we also want to emphasize. Like I said, it didn't come from fan, it didn't come from NCA, it didn't come from the airlines at all. So those are people who already understood the issue of disability thoroughly as far as the issue of access, airport usage for PWDs is concerned. But these are from their tenants. So we are calling on fan and insist that whoever is responsible for those people who are operating private businesses within the airport premises to now have some rules and regulations, or this is how you must operate if you're in these premises. Like if you have a house, you have a tenant, you give rules. Don't burn your refuse. You must display your refuse properly. Don't use generator on the window. You have to give rules. So we expect FAN and NCA to give rules and regulations to their tenants so that they will also be factoring into the global disability inclusiveness that we have been talking about for the past 2 years through the efforts of CODU.
The organization called upon relevant agencies to immediately address these shortcomings and ensure full compliance with the National Disability Act.
FAN should ensure that all infrastructures, upgrades, and new constructions adhere to universal design principles. Also, the FAN and Ministry of Aviation should coordinate trainings and sensitization programs for airport staffs on disability rights and inclusion. We are also recommending that the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority should monitor and enforce compliance with accessibility standards and regulations at the airport towards ensuring maximum safety for passengers with disabilities.
The organizers urge the government and airport authorities to take immediate actions to rectify the systemic barriers that continue to impede the mobility and independence of persons with disabilities at airports across the country. Okpeyemi Owosheni, TV 360 News, Lagos.